I'm here with Terry Dale, President of the U.S. Tour Operators Association, and this is Insider Travel Videos. Now, Terry, first of all, this has been a great conference, as it always is, at the U.S. Tour Operators Association here in December, and we're here at the Kierland Westin, another great event. But it's a time to sort of, take stock and see where you are. And you just completed a survey by PwC about the economic impact of the tour operator business in the U.S. Talk a little bit about what that impact is.
I would be happy to. So what we learned, James, is that we are almost a $15 billion industry, 14.8 to be exact.
Well, we'll round it up.
So yes, I round up all the time. So basically a $15 billion industry. We provide the most amazing travel experiences for roughly 8.5 million U.S. citizens. Our members purchase over $10 billion in goods and services. Our payroll for U.S. citizens is $1 billion. So all the economic indicators are positive, and we couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's an amazing, and you've quantified it, and now you can really tell what the tour operator business is doing for the U.S. economy. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is obviously what happened in 2016. A lot of people and the operators here are saying it was an okay year, but we had certainly some major events over the course of the year that hurt. Talk a little bit about, if you could, what happened to your members this past year.
Yeah. Well, James, it was a year ago we stood together and had this conversation, and our forecast for 2016 had 2/3 of our members predicting a boom year, which we define as between 7 and 10% increase in sales volume. That did not materialize because shortly thereafter, as you recall, we had terrorist attacks in Paris and Brussels and Istanbul and on U.S. soil as well. We had the Zika virus, which also took its toll, certainly with the Brazilian market. So we had all of these business disruptions that are out of our control, but certainly we have to live with and manage with our customers and their travel. So I think those took a toll. I think the good news is that a lot of folks, if they were planning to go to, let's say, Paris, for an example, and they just didn't feel comfortable at that time, then they shifted to maybe another part of the world. Okay. So while we didn't see that 7 to 10% growth, we didn't see a decline, and most members still had some modest growth. So I think in light of all of the interruptions that we faced in 2016, we still had growth, and we're optimistic about 2017.
Well, and indeed, you have surveyed your members about the outlook once again for 2017. Tell us what they're seeing for next year.
Well, roughly 44% of our members are, once again, very optimistic. A boom year, 7 to 10%, and then the others are cautiously optimistic that 1 to 6% growth. So, if that range materializes, we'll be very happy. If we can minimize somehow those things that are out of our control, which we can't or we can't control, we'll see a year from now. But we're going into the year with people feeling confidence. And, we've got the election behind us because that always...
Thank God for that.
Thank God for that. But that does also weigh heavily on the psyche of the U.S. consumer. So things look good.
Okay. Now, well, we talked about the election. This past year, you've done a lot of lobbying in Washington on a number of issues. Talk a little bit about some of the successes you've had in Washington in the lobbying effort.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Cuba and opening up Cuba has been a priority of USTOA's for decades. We've long supported open borders, and with the executive action from President Obama, we've seen obviously tremendous progress there. When we've seen, air carriers now having flights going into Cuba within just the last week, all very encouraging, and yet we enter into another uncertain cycle with the passing of Fidel Castro, the changing of administrations. So it's a wait and see kind of environment with Cuba. You know, we are part of a coalition called Engage Cuba, which combines agriculture and tourism. And so we're very proactive there, happy with the progress that we've made. Don't want to see it rolled back.
So you're going to continue that effort for going into 2017. Right?
Absolutely. And then, you know, our national parks and the Centennial celebration, there's a bill called the Centennial Bill that helps restore critical funding. And it passed the House earlier this week. Just learned that it's hit roadblocks now in the Senate because we were hopeful even yesterday that there was this glimmer that maybe something could come out of this lame duck session. Doesn't appear like it's going to, but we will continue to make, you know, our parks a priority. You know, so many of our members have great experiences, and we need to support the infrastructure of those parks. The visa waiver program has been one that's had some challenges over the last couple of years. The name of it, you know, some people misinterpret and think that it's a relaxing of standards and vetting, when in fact it's just the opposite. So we need to, even though things have calmed down a little, we need to do a lot of educating. There was what was called the JOLT bill that was going to help facilitate the visa process. That didn't materialize this year. But, you know, our industry, we don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, we just, and especially when it comes to anything legislative, it takes years to get potentially some movement, and the climate that we've had in the Beltway has not been conducive, as we all know, for collaboration. So, but it's important for us to be up there and making our case.
Well, let's hope 2017 brings some equally good results from the lobbying front for you. And I did want to touch a little bit about, you've always been very creative in the way that you promote tours to the public. And talk a little bit, if you could, about what you've done in 2016. I believe you have sort of two programs, Modern Day Explorers, which, and then a partnership with AFAR.
Yeah. So we decided a year ago this time that we were going to follow in the footsteps of product development managers, because we thought consumers and travel agents would really benefit from seeing how these product development professionals put together these travel experiences, these travel packages. So we sent 6 of our active members, partnered them with 6 different countries, with a camera crew, and followed them as they went and experienced for the first time some of the different elements, whether it's a cultural element, an artist, a historian, a craftsperson, a chef, and as they're putting together what they think is the perfect travel experience to Malta, let's say, for example. So these videos we were extremely proud of. I mean, they surpassed all the metrics that we had put in place as far as goals, and the countries were really proud of them. Our active members, who were the explorers, did an amazing job. It was almost like I felt like I went to central casting and casted them, which we had nothing to do with that, but they
rose to the occasion.
They rose to the occasion, and they were so authentic. And yet, you know, several of them said, I was so, nervous, and I was like, but it didn't show, and that's all that matters. So, yes, you mentioned our AFAR ambassador program. So this is where we take an ambassador, put them on a member tour or a member package, and then they blog about it, and they Instagram and use all the social media channels, and AFAR uses the content as well, and it really helps enrich what we've got on our blog. So we've had this partnership for 4 years. We will continue it in 2017. Our members like it, AFAR is happy with it, and we benefit because we get really top-notch content.
Right. And now you got something coming else in 2017. You have a new partnership to announce, right?
We do. So for the first time in USA Today's history, they have entered into a marketing partnership with a trade association, USTOA. And so what we are going to do is that we're going to take 4 countries, 4 active members, camera crew once again, and where the twist is here is that we're going to select some of the guests on a particular tour or FIT package, and we're going to follow the consumer, the traveler, on this package. And interview them throughout their experience, because what we want to do is not only showcase the destination, but we want to kind of get at the heart at why do you travel and why did you choose destination X? Because we want to get to kind of more the emotional side. You know, what does this ultimately do for you? Is this a transformative experience? Is this to strengthen the family bond, create memories of a lifetime? So we're really kind of focusing on why I travel in addition to where I travel. And so then we'll end up with branded content at USA Today, along with videos, and we're excited. And you know, it just, for our segment of the travel industry to get this segment in a platform this large, we think can really help elevate knowledge and understanding about the package travel industry. So the response we've gotten from our DMO members,
those are the destination folks.
Thank you, yes, exactly, has been overwhelming. And I think my concern is, how do we pick from our dear friends only 4? So
well, that'll be your challenge, I think, for 2017. But let's hope you pick the some very good destinations. I'm sure you have a lot, and let's hope you can get some really good content to promote tours. Terry, it's been a great conference as always, and it's been wonderful to be here. And thanks again.
Thank you, James.
I'm James Schillinglaw for Insider Travel Videos.